Xbox games on PlayStation just seem to keep doing better with every release. Now, there's a little bit of a misnomer out there that I keep seeing pop up, and I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but tell me if I'm wrong. The misnomer is that, oh, this is just the beginning. This was just the test for Xbox. More games, all their games are going to be on all platforms all the time. This was just the test. And I don't think that that's the case. And these games having success prove that to me, that this was a strategic move with select games. Let's talk about it. First, let's go over this news story from purexbox.com. Again, if you haven't, go check them out. It's great for your daily Xbox news. But let's discuss this. This is the headline. Xbox games are enjoying a positive upward trend on PS5, suggests new analysis. And Grounded appears to be leading the pack. It's the latest one. Basically, all that it says, there's a study that shows that each game that releases of the 4 that were announced, as they release in order, the next one does better than the previous one. I don't think this says that this is a test for Xbox, that other games are coming, that they're never going to have exclusives only on Xbox or Game Pass ever again. No. To me, it shows, oh, this is why they picked these games. Let's talk about it real quick. Let's go over the news story. This is by Fraser Gilbert, my main man. One of the biggest bits of Xbox news we've seen this year has been the decision to bring multiple first-party games to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. And looking at the latest PS stats, it appears that there's been a positive upward trend. All that means is that each game that releases, the next one does better, and the next one does even better. This is according to data from Game Insights, which takes its information from over 3.1 million PlayStation accounts. Based on this, the most recent release of Grounded seems to be doing the best on PS4 and PS5 so far, with 49% more active players than Hi-Fi Rush's PS5 and 89% more than Pentiment's Sony debut, which was the first one to drop. So Pentiment dropped. It did a certain amount of plays. It had a certain level of success. Then Hi-Fi Rush dropped. It had more success. Now Grounded has dropped, and it has even more success. That's what that's saying. The stats appear to show that Xbox is steadily achieving more success with each PlayStation release, and with Sea of Thieves on the horizon, that's almost certainly going to continue, especially consider pre-orders have been very successful for Rare's Seafaring Adventure on PS5. How does all this translate to actual sales, though? We really don't have those details on that, aside from a suggestion that Grounded did okay, but didn't really dominate PlayStation's most played game charts in its debut week. Xbox will be keeping a close eye on all 4 of these titles to see how they fare on other consoles and if they end up proving a big success sales-wise. And I'm sure eventually we'll find out those numbers. So, why do I say that this is not proof positive? This was not a test, is not a test for Xbox to bring more games to Xbox. I mean, maybe more games, select strategic games to multiple platforms, but in no way is this a test to bring all their titles over. And they're not ever going to have an Xbox exclusive. I think what this shows is that this move was strategic. That the games that they selected to come to Xbox have a few things in common. Number one, is there demand for these games? Is there a hole that needs to be filled on other platforms? If the answer is yes, that checks a box. Clearly, there was a hole for these types of games. Particularly, I think it's why you see Grounded, and you're going to see Sea of Thieves absolutely explode, I believe, over on PlayStation. I mean, all indications are, as of this point, that it's going to explode on PlayStation. The reason why, PlayStation does not have a great library of those kind of games. These are titles that are unique and have been unique to to Xbox/PC and have never been on PlayStation before. It makes logical sense then to bring them over to a PlayStation, to a Nintendo Switch, where there is holes to be filled there, where you can benefit your brand and your product and your Game Pass service by exposing more people to these titles. I think that's all that this shows. This shows that the strategy, these were hand-selected for a reason, and that strategy seems to be correct, at least as of right now. I think that's all that says. I actually wrote down this question here. What does the increased popularity of Xbox games on PS5 suggest about the future of console exclusivity? I don't think it suggests that much. I just think that if there's a hole to be filled, if it makes logical sense, and you can bring a game to multiple platforms, you're going to do it. Does that mean that there's not going to be exclusivity going forward? No, absolutely not. Now, it does in the traditional sense. There's no longer going to be Xbox console exclusive games. There's going to be Game Pass exclusive games that you can get on Game Pass for PC or Xbox or wherever Game Pass is. So in that sense, exclusivity is done, i.e. console exclusivity, but that's being done by everybody. Well, with the exception, we really haven't heard a lot from Nintendo yet on that, but Nintendo has even moved some of their IPs over to mobile, for instance. So I do think long-term, that's the norm. It'll be both on PC and on console, which does beg the question, are we at the end of the console era? I've seen that pop up a few times, and I've thought about it, and I don't think that we are. I don't think we're even close. I think what we're at the end of is the current model of console, the current selling point of consoles not being as powerful as they once were. And so what is the shift to bring that back? What is the shift to make that more powerful? I think Game Pass is a part of that, but I also think it's the 1-2 punch. I think Sarah Bonds, this is going to be the largest technological leap ever in a generation. With this next generation may be it. I think moving to or having options for players to play mobile may be it. And by mobile, I mean like the Nintendo Switch is mobile, like the Steam gamepad, like the ROG Ally, etc., etc. So I do think that we are at a adjustment period. We're at a shift. I've said that before, but I don't think that consoles are going away anytime soon. I don't think it's the end. I don't think it signals the end of consoles. I do think that the market adjusts. The market is adjusting, and console makers have to adjust in order to remain successful. And what was on top will not always be on top. I mean, it happened very fast that Sega went away as a console maker. That could happen to anybody. That could happen to any of the current console makers out there, and we could get new current console makers in the game tomorrow. You never know. You never know what the future holds. I do think Xbox is safe. I think Xbox is making the moves necessary. I think they're leading the pack, actually, in this next generation. Similar. It feels like Xbox is where they were between the One and the 360. That's what it feels like, that we are starting to hit on all cylinders, and it's going to be exciting to see, can they maintain it? Can they continue it? Can they continue to lead in this new era that is gaming? Another question I wrote down. How might this trend affect the ongoing Xbox versus PlayStation rivalry among gamers? I don't think it affects it at all. I think that's going to continue. I think that let me make a asterisk on this. Crazy gamers, crazy internet gamers. There are gamers who just enjoy. You meet an average dude on the street who plays PlayStation, who plays the game on PlayStation, you play it on Xbox. You guys bond because you're both gamers. You go onto Twitter, you go onto social media, and there is crazy people who call themselves gamers, and I don't believe that they actually truly are. They're identified with a team over gaming, over the sport. It's like, I'm not watching. I watch the Chicago Bears, and if I stop watching the Chicago Bears, I don't watch football. I don't love football as much as I love my Chicago Bears. Well, you're not a football fan. You're a Chicago Bears fan. That's exactly it. These people that I think really ignite and flame the console wars, because I'm not sure that the console wars actually exist to the level. I mean, they exist in the idea that companies compete each other. Companies try to improve their services to get your dollars, to get your eyeballs, to get your patronage. But I don't think that it exists at the level that these crazy team players on the interwebs might make it seem. And so I don't think I think they're going to be there regardless of what you do. I don't think this affects it at all. I think it's an interesting strategic move, and it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. Could this be a signal for more cross collaboration though in the gaming industry? Maybe. Yeah, I think that PlayStation is going to do the same thing. I mean, we have a news story earlier this week about Helldivers being considered, PlayStation considering Helldivers going to Xbox. You got to ask yourself why. Why is that? They're seeing something on their side that says this may be a good move for us. They may be seeing what is happening to Xbox games on their platform that says, ooh, maybe this is a good move for us. What does this do? Should we do this? How can this help us? How can this benefit us? And so, yeah, I maybe wouldn't call it cross-platform collaboration necessarily, but cross-platform publishing of titles that make sense. Yeah, we're going to see more of it from everybody. I truly believe that. I would like to know what you guys believe, though. Where am I right? Where am I wrong? What do you think this positive trend suggests? Am I wrong? Maybe this does suggest that Xbox is going to bring eventually all of their exclusives everywhere. I don't think it does. I think that's what the internet crazies are saying, but they're wrong, like usual. I think this underscores that these games were strategically picked for a reason to fill a hole, and their positive trend upwards proves that, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think, though. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. My name is X1 the Gamer. We have videos like this all the time right here. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.